January the 31st, 2026. Guys, we're getting reports of multiple explosions in different cities in Iran. And one of them is right here on the coast. It's a naval port area for Iran. It's called Bandar Abbas. And we got images there. They took out, looks like pretty precision strikes into one building. And they're saying they killed the Navy commander. And what have they been talking about? Putting up a naval blockade right here, where you see the flash, is the Straits of Hormuz. We're going to take a little closer look at the map itself. But now, Iran is denying that it killed the Navy leader or commander, but we'll just have to see. Now, the first thing that happened was Israel called Iran and said, we did not do this. You know, they were quick to, like a rooster crowing. We didn't do it. We didn't do it. But, we had 5 ships parked at the Israeli port there in the Mediterranean. One was a destroyer. We had aircraft carriers there and everything's not very far from this area. And what had happened, I think that move was made because we lost Diego Garcia, the island that's out in the Middle East offshore, and that was basically a base for the U.S. Air Force and whatever other supplies. But I think it was England that, just out of spite to Trump, I think they may have had sovereignty over it or something, gave the thing away, just about. It's unbelievable what the leopards will do. Now, this is the building there at Bandar Abbas, where the Navy is, or the Navy commander was, and they didn't blow the entire building up. It looks almost like a precision strike. At the top floors, the bottom floors seem semi-intact, and the destructive force that they can take out a block if they want to. Again, it appears that the Navy commander maybe has exited the scene. And it's kind of ironic because I did a video a couple of days ago about the situation building up and showing all the different boats of the Iranian Navy, including the submarines, if you guys remember. But they kept bad-mouthing and being very braggadocious against Trump, saying we will stand, we will fight, we don't care. And they madured this guy, except Maduro's still alive. In other words, they took the leader of a big leader out. Now, the Ayatollah is supposedly in hiding, and someone mentioned maybe even in final prayers for the final war. Just saying. Anyway, and this is the commander that was supposedly taken out right here, guys. I don't know his name. They're just showing this image. But again, Iran is denying it, as well as Israel is denying their involvement, which they probably are not involved. There would be no need, except maybe, intelligence gathering, things like that, and having a port sitting there. This is one of the images right after that explosion there on the island. Again, they weren't trying to take out civilians. It doesn't look like to me. Just take out the commanders with the big mouse. And they are saying over 40,000 Iranians have been slaughtered by the Ayatollah because of their protesting. Now, guys, this is a very sad photo in a lot of ways. We were almost at this point in this country. If Tim Walz and Kamala had gotten into office through vote cheating, this is what we would be seeing. But this is a Hamas demonstration over this attack. You know where it's at? It's in London. Look at this. Guys, we talk about it all the time, and even when people and friends come from the UK in that area and come into the comments and have a conversation with us, man, you can't help but say that I don't know what you're going to do. They've taken your guns. You're overrun. The politicians have been overrun. The police forces are overrun. And this is what you end up with. That's the plan worldwide. By the way, let's take a look at the map of this area. And we're going to do it via Flight Radar 24. And we're seeing probably more air traffic. This is the Iranian border through here and up through here. Here's Iraq, Syria. Here is Israel, Jordan, right there. But again, more air traffic in the area than normal, but a lot of it, probably commercial flights, are being routed out and really right almost over the Strait of Hormuz themselves, and then around Turkestan, Afghanistan, in this area. But Tehran was hit, guys. Here, was hit right there, and that's like one of the holiest cities, one of the oldest ones. It goes back to the Sumerians in those days, guys. Anyway, Tehran was hit, Karaj was hit. If I'm not mistaken, let me see. There was one of the cities right in here that took a hit, and if we go south here, again, there's an airport here, naval bases and all. This is where the strike that took the Navy commander out, right in the throat of the Straits of Hormuz. Not all, but a great portion of the world's oil travels through this section, and they had threatened to have naval exercises there, possibly with Russian and Chinese involvement in the exercises. So it's kind of a very fast and changing situation. What I'm thinking is the attack is still underway. But again, when you took out the commander here, that's got to have a psychological disadvantage to the Navy itself. They know that we know, or who we're not. The U.S. hasn't claimed it. We've been told they were headed that way for 2 or 3 weeks now, and Israel is denying it. But guys, I just wanted to come in for a minute and talk about this because it is a flashpoint, and again, something that I saw on a video was the fact that the Ayatollah was in hiding, again, in final prayers for the final war. Whether that's propaganda that they're putting out, it's hard to tell because confusion and the smoke of war is a very common thing. But anyway, guys, we're watching it. You watch it. Just keep eyes on news from Israel, news from Iran. Type it in. See what you can find, because this is either going to be a in and out deal like the attack on their nuclear facilities was, or it may be a little more prolonged until they get what they want. But I do know that there's satellite images coming out now that's showing that they were working on restoring the nuclear facility that we took out. What, 2 or 3 months ago, maybe something like that. Anyway, and they're showing side-by-side images of work being done on that area. And Trump, I think he just mentioned maybe in the last 48 hours, that was off the table, period. So that may have been part of the instigation along with the threat again, here in the Straits of Hormuz. Just not much traffic in this area. This PIA 839 you see moving here, that's a Pakistani International Airlines right there. And again, they are avoiding going directly over the straits themselves, but everyone's being very careful. I would be too if there were missiles flying through the air with that precision. You wouldn't want to be seeing that out the cockpit window headed at you, would you? Anyway, guys, we're going to watch it. You watch it. It is finally up to 24 with a real feel right now of 13 degrees. That hadn't changed much, and you can tell up in the tall trees, very gusty, strong winds, and that's pushing towards Florida very quickly, guys. The radars are indicating now in Alabama and South Alabama, approaching the panhandle of Florida, the moisture's already freezing in the atmosphere. It turns the radar scope on your local radar images to a gold color when it's that cold, and it's approaching Alabama. You may be getting a little bit of wet precipitation yourself, but we're watching it, guys. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.